Folks, tonight, Atlanta police say parents could now face charges after hundreds of teenagers caused chaos at the Atlantic station. So this is video. This is from Saturday night showing fights unfolding and customers running for their lives. Police said that they first responded to Atlantic station after 7 p.m. when someone set off fireworks and found about 400 unsupervised kids.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the video. Doing a reaction here to this news clip that's coming out of Atlanta. Just happened around the Atlanta station. Saying roughly 400 kids. They're just saying roughly. It could have been way more. Just out and about, doing whatever, causing chaos for people who patronize this area, who traveling, shopping, just taking a walk. Who knows, man? But maybe this was something that was planned through social media, or somehow this was organized to where all these kids knew to come to this area around this time frame. And as you were seeing, they were fighting. They had reports of gunshots, and at first I was just like, I'm not gonna touch this, man. I'm not gonna say nothing about this. But when I seen this clip here this morning saying, the parents are going to be, held responsible, the parents will face charges. I thought it was very, very interesting, because now we're starting to see that authorities are going to start holding parents accountable for their kids being unsupervised and going out and causing disturbances within the community. And when you start holding the adults accountable, I guarantee you they'll do a little bit more to try to talk to or influence their children not to behave this way. You have full out fights going on. I'm gonna run this back here.
Atlantic station after 7 p.m. when someone set off fireworks and found about 400 unsupervised kids.
Recording.
What we did not see were parents of any of the 400 juveniles, children that were present. And as we continue to address this issue and make adjustments to keep this area safe, we must be joined by parents knowing where their children are, ensuring they are under proper supervision of adults and are abiding by the law.
Officers moved the teenagers from Atlantic Station property, pushing them all the way towards the 17th Street Bridge, and that's where police say 2 guns were fired just before 10 p.m. Now, APD says that it actually detained 5 teenagers responsible for firing those weapons. The ages, the youngest one is 14, and then 15, 16, and 17 years old. Now, the department...
Did y'all hear that? 14, 15, 16, and 17-year-old. They were all detained with having firearms or shooting a firearm. It doesn't say who had the firearm. Of course, I'm sure they don't necessarily know that, but 14, 15, 16, 17. Your teenagers have those straps. Your teenagers are not afraid to pull and use those straps. Do I feel like these teenagers know what to do with those straps? No. This is just, all influence. They've been that's the generation that was targeted with the whole drill music and just that whole campaign. Some of their favorite rappers are going to be guys who rap about toting that thing, having that switch. This is the when they say cause and effect, this is the effect here. This is what happens when you have young impressionable minds. They're able to get their hands on firearms either by stealing them or robbing people for them. Because 14, 15, 16, 17, you're not able to just go into a store and just purchase handguns and, guns that are concealable. So you have to obtain these guns in illegal ways. Hey, sometimes, man, the big homie in the hood might pass you the joint, So or you might buy it off the big homie in the hood. The big homie might have caught a body with that gun and just wanted to get it up off of him or something. So it's just plenty of ways, man, that these kids are getting their hands on guns. And again, the only thing they know is that we're gonna use these guns against people. And then they don't care about getting on social media and showing the fact that they have these guns. So whoever you're dealing with or dealing against, they know that you have these firearms. Of course, people are going to create fake accounts and follow their ops and look at what their ops are doing and see what their ops have going on. And it's become a thing now for people who are actually out there living that life to show everything they have going on social media, whether they're bragging about doing a hit, bragging about catching a body, showing their guns off. It's and the backdrop of or the background music. Listen to the type of music they associate with these type of posts. It's all gonna be the same type of music that I'm talking about, where some of their favorite lines is gonna be how they walk people down and stuff like that. So cause and effect, man, it's here. This is the. I mean, in societies, it's been like this, for decades. But if you don't think it's even worse now, you're fooling yourselves.
Department says parents found not have violated the city's ordinance of proper supervision will now face charges. And when it comes to Atlantic Station, the CEO says that it enforces a strict youth curfew starting at 3 p.m. The CEO has not addressed how 400 unsupervised teenagers were allowed on the property Saturday night.
Because whoever's security is gonna get, they're gonna get overwhelmed with how many people. I mean, you got maybe 10 security on staff, if that. And you're trying to enforce a 3 p.m., guardian curfew. I mean, some of these teenagers look like they're fucking adults. Let's not kid ourselves. And when it's large groups of people, you're gonna have to have a lot of manpower over there to help trying to disperse that. Talking about groups of 4+, man. They talk about over 400 kids that showed up out there. And trust me, man, even if the parents are saying stuff to these kids, let's not kid ourselves. They're not listening to the parents. You get rebellious in your teen years, and it just takes maybe some very hard lessons, losing some friends, going through legal issues yourselves, um, before you may learn, or you just may not learn. But man, these kids aren't listening to their damn parents. We already know this. And teens like to, hide stuff. They have a whole lot more freedom as they become older, and they get into any and everything. You know, those girls was scrapping. I mean, those girls was just in a full out brawl. And like I said, a lot of this goes from someone posting it on social media, and then everyone just follows. Look at
Video.
this.
This is from Saturday night showing fights unfolding and customers running for their lives. Police said that they first responded to the two.
You got guys on the left over here fighting. You got girls on the right over here fighting. And I guess this is a customer in the middle here trying to get himself up out of Dodge, because he just never knows when the gun's going to come out and shots get to firing. And now you got people getting hit. Luckily there wasn't any reports of people actually getting shot, but that could have been, it could have been different. It could have been entirely different. But yeah, hey, this is our youth, and this is just in Atlanta. You gotta understand, it's the same in other states. It's no different. The music is widespread, the messages are widespread. You know, being a rebellious teen is widespread. It's not just Atlanta. This is just this news story right here that just came out, because this just happened. And there are programs out there. There are people out there who have certain type of things set up to keep kids busy, give them something to do. It's just even with that, that's still gonna only cover a small portion, man. This is 400+ teens. again, they probably overwhelmed the whatever security Atlantic Station had on staff at the point, and once that happens, what are they gonna do other than call the authorities to come and try to assist? So you know, it's good that the parents are going to be held accountable, though. I could just say that. But go ahead and close out. If you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Justin Paul. Peace.